Have you ever wished that your favorite video game could become reality? What if with one click, you could enter the world of Minecraft and enjoy all the adventures of your favorite game in real life? You'll definitely say yes. Well, this is exactly what happened to our protagonist in today's story. Welcome to my channel. Today we will tell you about a boy who enters a strange Minecraft portal. So let's get started. Laith was a 10-year-old boy who lived in a small town with his parents and little sister. Life was good and was full of pleasant moments and joys. His father often took him to the forest to teach him survival skills, and his mother was very proud of her son and his progress in school. Of course, the boy's life was not without problems. There were some conflicts with his peers. However, he was never upset for long, because he always had a wonderful way to cheer himself up. This was a well-equipped and cozy room with many shelves containing various souvenirs and comic books. Most of all, the boy was proud of his new laptop, which his parents gave him for his birthday. While studying, he spent most of his free time playing his favorite game, Minecraft. He explored distant lands, built castles, and fought against terrible monsters. Laith loved his game so much that he even dreamed of being able to stay in this virtual world forever. It seemed to the boy that nothing could be better than living in the world of Minecraft. One evening, Laith was playing his beloved game as usual. As he was exploring a cave, he found a chest containing a golden apple. The boy had no idea that this was no ordinary fruit. As soon as he ate the apple, a mysterious message appeared on the monitor saying, "Are you ready to experience real Minecraft?" Laith thought it was just an ad or some kind of joke from his friends, and just out of curiosity he clicked the button. A bright flash appeared on the screen. The boy screamed and hid his face behind his hands. When he dared to look at the monitor again, he realized that the game window had disappeared. Moreover, there was a strong smell of ozone in the air, and the lights in the room suddenly went out. That's when he heard a rumble, as if the whole earth was shaking. The boy was so frightened that he closed his eyes tight, hoping the nightmare would end soon. However, the rumbling didn't stop. On the contrary, it got louder and louder. Then everything around suddenly went silent. When Laith finally dared to open his eyes, he realized that he was no longer in his room. All around was the dense forest he used to see in his game. Sunlight came through the leaves of huge trees and birds sang beautifully. But the most amazing thing was that all these trees consisted of cubes, as if they were made of Lego blocks. Looking down at his hands, the boy saw that they also turned into squares. Realizing what was happening, Laith froze in amazement. His excitement knew no bounds. He ran forward and broke a tree with his hands as easily as it was shown in the game. However, soon the boy's joy was dampened a bit. He understood that he would not be able to call his parents for help, and no one would know that he was missing. But the boy quickly recovered from this thought. After all, now he was in the world of Minecraft, and he could do whatever he wanted. Spending all his free time playing the game, he learned a lot about the cubic world. The first thing he did was gather wood and make a stone axe, which he used to chop down a few more trees and build a small shelter. He passed the first night in this world quite well. But when the sun rose, Laith realized that his virtual world was no different from the real one. Hunger and thirst, fatigue, fear of wild animals and insects, all this affected him, as it would in the real world. He had to look for food, protect himself from attacks by pigs, sheep, and cows, and even defend himself from a spider that wanted to attack him at night. However, the boy quickly adapted to the conditions. He hunted rabbits and made himself a wooden sword to defend himself against dangerous creatures. In just a few days, the boy learned a lot. Not only did he learn how to craft weapons and armor, tools and furniture, but he also learned how to farm, grow vegetables, domesticate animals, and even build portals. To his great joy, he found a portal to the Nether, one of the most interesting locations in the game. Many adventures awaited the boy there, battles with dangerous monsters, and, of course, the opportunity to get unique items. The boy had no idea that all this time his portal to the real world was inactive, until he defeated the Ender Dragon, the main antagonist of the game. At first, the boy was very happy with his adventures in the game world. He improved his shelter, got iron armor and weapons, found diamonds, and even tamed a wolf. However, over time, Laith began to miss his family and friends. He really wanted to return home and share his incredible experiences with his family and friends. Realizing this, the boy decided to take the risk and find the main antagonist of the game, the Ender Dragon. To do this, the boy needed to improve his portal to the end, another dimension located in the game. However, the portal could only be activated with a special item, the Eye of Truth. Layth searched a long time to find them, but he had no success. During this time, the boy continued to improve his shelter. Now it was a real fortress where no monster could get inside. Around this time, Layth's adventures took a turn for the worse. During one of his trips, he met a hermit who turned out to be very unfriendly. The man scared the boy and attacked him with a wooden pickaxe. But despite his surprise, Layth managed to push the attacker away from him and run away. However, this unpleasant incident inspired the boy to get stronger and take revenge on the hermit. Finally, the day came when the boy was ready for the final battle. Putting on his best armor and taking his weapons, he entered the portal to the end. Soon, the battle with the dragon began. Despite the fact that the monster was much stronger than the boy, Layth did not give up and won the fight. When the dragon was defeated, the portal activated, and the voice said, "Well done, hero. You may return now." Tears of happiness welled up in the boy's eyes. He was so happy to be going home. Jumping into the portal, Layth returned to his room. The game was still running on his laptop, but the boy didn't have time to pay attention to it. He immediately ran to his parents, hugging them tightly, telling them about his incredible adventures. Of course, the parents did and believed their son's story, and thought that the boy had been playing the game for too long. However, when in the morning they went to school and work as usual, Layth stayed at home. The boy took his laptop and plunged into the virtual world again. This time, the game started up much faster than usual, and the boy found himself in his shelter in the game world. Now he really wanted to go home. However, when he tried to activate the portal, it turned out that it didn't work anymore. The portal led to the end, but there was no portal to the real world. Now the boy had only one way out, to find the Eye of Truth. The journey to find the Eye of Truth was long and difficult. Layth had to explore many locations, solve puzzles, defeat dangerous monsters, and find rare items. Along the way, he met a lot of interesting characters, both friendly and hostile. The boy explored abandoned villages and temples, dungeons and catacombs. Each location was unique and beautiful in its own way. The most important thing was that along the way, the boy constantly improved his weapons and armor, as well as his shelter. By that time, Layth's shelter had turned into a real palace. The boy was very surprised, but he didn't slow down for a minute and continued to improve. Finally, he reached the abandoned temple in the desert. Here, he had to solve a series of complex puzzles to open the door to the secret chamber. But the boy wasn't afraid. After all, he was already used to such tests. Having solved all the puzzles, Layth opened the door and saw a pedestal with the Eye of Truth. Taking the artifact, the boy brought it to the portal to activate it. But when he stepped through the portal, instead of returning home, he ended up in a place he had never been before. Here, the trees were completely different, as were the animals. It was clear to Layth that he had ended up in another dimension, a parallel world. What will happen next, and will the boy be able to return home? All this you will find out in our next videos. So, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new releases.